Good morning.
Morning. Thanks to the chair and the subcommittee for allowing me to present today. I want to make it clear that Anthony Marco, the president of Labour Council, will be presenting later. I'm primarily speaking out of my own personal experience, even though I'm on the executive of Labour Council. So once again, thank the chair and the subcommittee for allowing me to take some of their time. I want to speak to the proposal that seems to be in favor of contracting out maintenance and operations of the LRT. In my day job, I have spent the last 15 years helping and assisting contracted out workers try to gain some form of justice in their lives and at work. It's a horrible situation, to be quite frank, for workers to be constantly put out to another employer, then out to another employer, and then out to another employer, and completely removed from any direct ability to control their workplace. And this is what you guys are actually considering doing again to workers in the city of Hamilton. I would argue that P3s in transit have not panned out well, as you've heard from many people. And so to be considering this again just seems like how many times will taxpayers have to cough up money to private institutions who constantly fail to meet their objectives. If you look at, the Ottawa LRT, the complete debacle that's become, the Eglinton line, another example of this, the Canada line in Vancouver, another example of problems, the delays, massive cost overruns, maintenance issues, who pays for all of that? The ordinary taxpayer pays to a private company to constantly go through that process, right? And these are due to contracts that are out of the control of the municipality. Once you let private contractors bid for these jobs and take these jobs, they are out of your control. The issues and problems that happen there will be blamed on you, but you have no control over them at all. The experience here in Hamilton, the water treatment plant. Did we forget about that? The complete debacle of contracting out the water treatment plant? What about the recent thing with UPEG, right? Was it 2022 we were getting a new arena? 2023, 2024, or is it 2025? Who's paying for this, right? There's a blight sitting down there, and we got promised that this was going to be fixed, not getting fixed. So again, we see this constant problem with contracting out work that the city should be keeping in-house, right? What about the security contracts? Who did we contract to monitor the water treatment plant? A company called Neptune Security. Google it. Find out about the scandals of the guy who ran that company. Fraud, been kicked out of any government contract in the province of Quebec, yet there was no oversight in this city for that contract. So beyond those obvious flaws in P3s getting contracted out, there's much deeper problems as well. It's not just the oversight, there's a human toll that happens when you contract out these jobs, and a human cost. Not just in terms of people's labor, but also to ordinary taxpayers as well. So despite glossy reports about savings, let's think about the toll down the road that this takes. You're looking at taking jobs that are not like one-offs. These are permanent, full-time positions to do maintenance, okay? It's not just like a quick sewer repair or, putting a speed bump in my neighborhood for the third time. It's ensuring that a system of lowest bids keeps workers and ensures that they're trapped in a system of constantly being at the bottom of the pay, okay? Without benefits and mainly without rights at work. It takes work that was a chance to be a leg up for newcomers, people in marginalized communities, people looking for a second chance to move up. Thousands of transit workers have probably moved on, stayed in transit or moved on to other jobs, stabilized their families, all these sorts of things. You're taking those jobs that were well-paying, decent paying, not great paying, decent paying with benefits, security, and stability, throwing them out the window and saying these jobs will now be permanently, basically minimum wage. Okay, because that's my experience working with contracted out transit workers in Toronto and York region. You are constantly awarding contracts, or Metrolinx does, or YRT does, to the lowest bidder, which means even where workers make some gains in benefits or wages or job conditions, new bidder comes in and it goes right back down to zero. You're in essence saying that you are willing to trap 80, 100, however many workers in a constant cycle of poverty and precarity by doing this. To do what? Save a few dollars or enrich a private contractor who will end up costing you the same amount. I'll end up there, but I just think YRT model, workers had pensions, benefits, all of these things. They lost all of that due to the contracting out and tendering service. So I think any savings you're making here, this is a process of penny wise, pound foolish. You can't say you're concerned as a council about housing and precarity and the crisis of the cost of living and then say we're prepared to contract out 100 jobs and make sure that they're low wage, people stuck in that precarity, unable to afford housing. You have a chance here to make the right decision and say that the city's job is to help working class people rise out of poverty, not to constantly allow a private contractor to keep their boot on their necks and leave them in poverty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.